Thank you, Whitney Houston, for bringing us in.
Play ball.
Contrary to what you might believe, she was not in the ballpark this evening.
These umpires behind the plate, Chris Godin. At first base, Scott Wing. Second base, Doug Perry. And at third base, Dwayne
Stevie, do you want to go over the lineups?
You got it. So, lineup for Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat's going to start with Nate Leslie. He is the third baseman. Cam Cox, the catcher, will bat second. Nick Merrill batting in the 3-hole. He's the shortstop. Ryan Mello, the center fielder, is your cleanup hitter. Harper Mutal is the DH for Ryan Glass, who will be on the bump. Sam Alexander, your first baseman. Right field batting seventh, Jacob O'Neill. Kyle Brennan is in left field. And in the 9-hole, Garrett Moody will be at second base. Defensively for Edward Little, left field, Jared Plord, Tyler Blanchard's in center, Mason Brushwine in right field, Max Bell at third. Intricacies of what goes on here, I'll tell you, it's a lot more complicated than people would give consideration to, and I can tell you that these guys work very hard to think about every possibility and making sure, most importantly, that they get to play right, and that's all you can ask for, especially here in the playoffs. Rain's starting to fall just slightly, as Undisclosed camera guy remains completely covered and under the tent.
Safe and sound.
As the pitter-patter of the tent picks up. Pitter-patter.
I knew it.
This was predictable.
This is so predictable. It was so, like, as soon as I heard that this game was at 3, I'm like, when's it going to rain? What time is that going to be? So, yep. Decision currently validated. We'll see if that continues to be a thing.
I can tell you that the umpires were aware of the fact that there was rain in the forecast. However, no thunder and no lightning. You know, they have a rule about thunder, Maddie. Did you know that? I believe you did.
Yes, I had heard about that.
And Edward Little in the home whites. And I yield here. White pants, white shirts, red, maroon lettering. Now stand 2-0 in the new uniforms, Maddie. They did not, in fact, wear these beautiful white uniforms up at the KVAC game in Bangor.
Oh, that's good.
So, remaining undefeated here with their uniforms.
Well, and that proves that they listen to these games, which is a key. It's funny.
As mentioned, Mr. Chris Godding will be the home plate umpire down at first base. Scott Wing. Doug Perry is your second base umpire, and Dwayne Palmer will be calling the plays at third and down the line. Interesting, they had a little discussion about the experience between all four guys. Over 80 years of experience between the umpiring crew today, and still every little detail covered in that pregame meeting. So very interesting, and again, I want to thank Mr. Godding for allowing me a peek inside. So literally, when the lineup cards got handed out and teams went into the dugout, the rain picked up.
That's exactly what happened.
And it's picking up. It's fairly steady now. I don't have any radar on me here, so we'll have to wait and see.
Be very interesting. They got to get it in though, because if not, then you got to push this thing to Monday or wait until 7 o'clock tonight.
That's right. The magic number here is 4.5. That's 4.5 innings is a complete game. If they don't get to 4.5 innings and the game is called, what's going to happen is they would have to restart and replay that game. So 4.5 makes it complete. If it were a tied game, it would revert back to the start of the last inning that was begun play.
St. Pierre's first pitch, and a little bit of a drizzle. Is a ball, and we're underway.
Nate Leslie, the third baseman for the Eagles.
Big catalyst for them in their win over Oxford Hills the other day. Pitches in there for a strike, 1-1.
I tried to rate everything as legible as I could for you today.
You did a very good job today.
I worked hard.
That pitch, great attempt by Varney to frame it, but Mr. Gotti was not falling for it. I think we're officially out of the rain now. 2-1 pitch is high, 3-1.
St. Pierre guy that doesn't overpower, but very, very accurate. Generally keeps the ball down, works his off-speed stuff. He's a command pitcher for sure. Throws more of a straight ball for a lefty than you would tend to see at overhand release point.
winds and fires low, and Leslie will get on with a walk.
Draws a walk. Runner at first. Nobody out. The next batter, the catcher, number 30, Cam
A
Cox.
lot of times with a lefty, you'll see a kind of a crafty delivery point, kind of a three-quarter delivery, not the over-the-top delivery that St. Pierre has, but just having trouble finding it here.
Cox is the catcher. Swings at the first pitch and misses 0-1. Good, healthy cut, but swung right through it.
Fantastic view of home plate from the right center gap, which is where we would be. Maybe the gap could,
Yeah. I agree, 100%.
There was a marketing campaign that surrounded around this store, I believe, in some major league parks.
There was. I remember that. Back in the when Barry Bonds was hitting 70 home runs a year. A 1 pitch off speed is going to be chopped to second. Nice play there by Lashua. Gets it over to first to Harris. One away. Leslie will advance over to second base.
Ball just wasn't hit that hard. Cox way behind the fastball from St. Pierre and hit kind of loosely a chopping ground ball to Lashua. He had no chance to get the speedy Leslie at second base. Did the right thing as the ball took him to his left to get the force out over at first.
One away, top of the first. No score. Just underway here. As is the rain. The rain is just underway here as well. Nick Merrill takes the first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1.
Got to be careful that the playing surface stays safe for the kids. That's the general idea here in terms of how the rain is affecting play, is what's going on in and around home plate and around the pitcher's mound.
St. Pierre steps, swung through and missed, 0-2.
Starting to find that rhythm with his fastball here, and you wonder if going to the stretch has helped him out a little bit. Lefties tend to have a lot of moving parts, sure the same amount as righties, but they just tend to have a little bit different level of coordination. Stretch helping St. Pierre.
Pitch is low, 1-2.
Leslie not getting too much of a secondary lead over at second base. With a left-handed pitcher, runner at second really has an opportunity to get an extra couple of steps.
St. Pierre looks back at second. Now steps and fires to the plate. 1-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Strike 3.
Good curveball that time by St. Pierre, and looked like Merrill had the fastball timed up. He had seen it a couple of times, swung through it. That time a good breaking pitch from St. Pierre to get his first strikeout.
That will bring up Ryan Mello. Has no yellow on him. Not even his bat's yellow. That's a little disappointing.
No yellow whatsoever.
Nothing. Not even like nothing.
0 for 3 against Oxford Hills.
Played some pretty good defense for them, though.
Yeah, well, you know, and Coach Slicer had a few comments in the paper about the fact that the outfield, O'Neill, Brennan, and Mello for the Eagles really did a tremendous job tracking balls down in the outfield.
0-1 is high, 1-1.
Back-to-back curveballs here from St. Pierre after striking out Cox on the curveball. Seems to have found that release point. And now able to throw what he wants at his will here.
Showers are probably going to be intermittent through this whole game. Looking at the radar, count's now 2-0. I'll show you the radar here. Here's the current radar.
Yeah, I would say intermittent and occasional.
They might be pretty steady here for the first couple of innings too, so grounds crew might have their work cut out for them. 1-0 pitch, fouled away at the plate, 1-1.
Well, the good news is they have lights here, Maddie, so we can be here all night, my friend.
We can. It's good. I'm sure everybody will be thrilled about that. Everyone. Somebody just crunched a can in disgust because they were so angry hearing that. Off speed. Outside. 2-1. 3-1
Big
now, excuse me.
looping breaking ball that time from St. Pierre. Got his elbow down a little bit. Ball come up really high out of his hand. Try to get his fingers on top and pull that down.
No score, top of the first. 2-1 pitch, swung on a miss. Actually, that'll be strike 3. Don't trust the scoreboard. That's what a wise man once taught me. We're halfway through one. Edward Little and Mount Ararat have no score. It's the MPA Baseball Playoffs on 92.7, The Ox. Want to take a second and thank OA. They're our presenting sponsor for video broadcasts all year long on the video side. Join them Saturday, June 18th at the grand opening of Ortho Access at OA. All sorts of folks will be on hand to celebrate from 10 a.m. to noon. But more about that coming up. For more information on that, go to mbr.org. We're back here on the radio side of things. If you're looking for the video, mbr.org. You can watch it through the raindrops. We're protected. We're okay. Everything seems fine. No score. Bottom of the first inning between Edward Little and Mount Ararat. Cox, Blanchard, and Plord will be your law firm due up this inning. Cox, Blanchard, and Plord.
Defensively for the Eagles, Brennan and left, Mello, your center fielder, O'Neill and right. We talked about them. Very capable, speedy outfield. Leslie is the third baseman, Merrill the shortstop, Moody at second, Alexander at first in the battery, Cam Cox, and Ryan Glass is your pitcher.
Glass is a righty. Pitch low. I got to see him pitch in the runaway game against Bangor, the Mount Ararat Bangor game, which was a runaway game. And Bangor scored 5 or 6 runs in the first inning and just ran away with it. He came in relief and looked pretty good. That pitch is going to be chopped too short. Nice play over there by Merrill. He gets it over to first, but will not be in time. Cox is on. Edward Little has their leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the first.
And that's dangerous. Edward Little, a team that is capable of hitting the ball all over the ballpark. They hit it hard. They hit it well. They are not afraid to play some small ball to try to get a run across. It's not going to surprise me to see Blanchard try to lay a bunt down here, or potentially see if Austin can't steal himself a base.
Glass's pitch is going to be lined into left field for a base hit past the third baseman, Leslie. Cox advances to second. Runners on first and second for EL with nobody out in the bottom of the first.
That fastball is looking very good so far to the Red Eddies. That time Blanchard able to put a good swing on the ball, hit it hard through the left side. Both hitters able to pull the ball, and now Jared Plord, who's in left field today, hit a couple of smoke shows in BP.
Him and Hartley. Hartley almost hit us while we were out here setting up.
He certainly did.
Swung and a missed 0-1.
Plord had the benefit of a little bit of wind anyway, but hit a smashing line drive, 2-run homer last game that we were able to take in against Mesalonsky.
On Wednesday. Yes, it took me just a few minutes to realize what day it was, because I'm like, how many baseball games have we done this week?
They roll right into one another at some point.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No games yesterday. I was at St. Dom's this morning. St. Dom's fell to Lisbon 4-2. Lisbon got 2 runs in the top of the 7th to win that one. Plord hits it into right field. Back. It's going to be over the right fielder's head and all the way to the wall. Cox will score. Blanchard will score. Plord, actually, no. Blanchard's going to get held up at second. Not sure if Cox got held up there or not. Waiting to see if it was going to be caught. EL leads 1-0. Jared Norcross Plord steps into second with a double.
Boy, hit well that time into the opposite field. Right fielder O'Neill kind of froze as it was hit. I don't even think if he moved back right off the bat, he would have been able to get it. Mello trying to let him know it had him beat. Plord with a run-scoring double. Nice piece there.
That is going to be hit into left field, and Brennan catches it out in left. However, Blanchard will tag and score. 2-0 Edward Little. That was Lashwa with the sacrifice fly there. O'Neill on that previous play actually did a good job of recovering when it hit the wall to get it in quickly, because it looked like Blanchard was going to score easily. I mean, he was right on Cox's tail.
Well, Coach Lashwa was well down the third base line, really kind of waiting until the last second to give Blanchard the stop sign.
Brandon Varney steps in, the catcher. Glass has given up 2 here in the top of the first, and Varney is going to pop it out into center field. That'll be Mello. He gets underneath it. And they'll be 2 away. Norcross Plord still at second. Hartley steps into the dish, left-handed batter.
Big sophomore is Hartley.
I'll jump in front of the camera and disclose camera guy. If he hits one out here, we'll be fine. We'll be good. I'll try to catch it with my hat. With the hat here. We'll be good.
Glass looks like he's struggling a little bit to get in over the plate so far. He's been a little bit too good, and Edward Little put a couple of good swings on.
Pitch is outside, 2-0. Not sure who's running the scoreboard today, but they're a little behind. Just a touch. Bottom of the first, 2-0. Edward Little Hartley out in front of the breaking pitch. It's 1-1. 2-1 now, excuse me.
Really just didn't see the ball out of the hand that time. Hartley committed to swinging, looked like it was good early, but swung right over the top.
2-1, low, 3-1. Max Bell on deck. EL looking to make it up to Augusta on Tuesday. We'll have that game for you if EL makes it. That'll be a 4:30 pregame. Station to be determined. Video rights also to be determined. Walk by Hartley. He'll go down to first base. EL has runners on first and second. And Glass kind of streaky right now, not in a good way.
Well, and really struggling against a team in Edward Little that can do a lot of damage no matter how many outs are on the board. And when you start putting guys on base and getting through this lineup, Max Bell, a very capable hitter in the 7-hole for EL.
Pitch to Bell, swung and a missed, 0-1.
Bangor up 4-0 through 5 innings of play.
Must have had a big fourth or a big fifth. Big top of the fifth? No, big bottom of the fifth.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like it's still going.
Pitch is way outside on the ground. 1-1.
Rain picking up slightly. It's been fairly steady since the start of the game, although it seems to be sun's starting to peek out a little bit. Some interesting light now coming onto the field.
1-1. Outside corner now. 1-2. 2 on, 2 out. 2 runs in so far for Edward Little. It's the bottom of the first inning. They lead 2-0.
Bell looking to keep the rally alive for Brushwine, who is on deck.
Throw back to second, and Moody hauls it in and goes back to the pitcher. Saw a guy from St. Thomas get thrown out at second today.
Kind of pick
like
up play
Gardner
like
last night.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Tough base running for Doms today. That pitch is high, 2-2. Ran themselves out of 2 or 3 innings and came back to bite them. Two-two pitch is going to be flared to the second baseman. That'll be Moody. He gets underneath it. Edward Little is done for the top of the first. They get 2, they leave 2. End of 1. 2-0 Edward Little over Mount Ararat. It's the MPA playoffs on the Ox. Once again, I want to remind you that OA is our presenting sponsor for video broadcasts all year long. Join them Saturday, June 18th for the grand opening of Ortho Access at OA. All sorts of folks will be on hand to celebrate from 10 a.m. to noon. Giveaways, prizes, food, and more. For more information, visit orthoassociates.com or get their Facebook and Twitter links there and follow them and like them. Welcome back. On the radio side of things, we never left you on video, but that's okay. 92.7 The Ox OXO. It's a high school baseball playoffs. Edward Little leads Mount Ararat 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Due up for Mount Ararat in this part of the inning, Harper Montal. Yeah, Sam Alexander and Jacob O'Neill. I accentuated that because I couldn't quite figure out his name.
You got it. You got it.
It's all good.
And St. Pierre now in his second inning of work already has a couple of strikeouts.
I wonder if pitchers or both of them might pick up the pace here a little bit. And
you know, you don't want to get out of your sort of normal rhythm that you have, but it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Mutal able to have, he was 1 for 3 against the Vikings the other day.
pitch to Mutal is a strike.
Curveball again for St. Pierre. That's been his best pitch so far. Still
Pierre's
early.
got the stirrups working too, which is key. That's always a big plus. Off speed, swung on a missed, 0-2. It's a good curveball.
That's it. It's really tough to hit. And, left-handed pitching is rare enough. A left-handed kid that can throw regular strikes with a curveball.
0-2, swung on a miss, strike 3. Mutal down 1-2-3, and there's one away. Alexander up now. He's the first baseman. Jacob O'Neill due up next. He's the right fielder.
3 of the first 5 batters for Mount Ararat strikeout victims.
That pitch is low, 1-0.
Alexander did not play in the game we saw against Oxford Hills.
St. Pierre's 1-0 is low. Varney lost the handle on it, but nobody's on, so nobody really so much cares. 2-0.
He would be replacing by person only, not position, Mr. Van Note, who is not playing today.
No, Mr. Van Note. That pitch is going to be hit right at us into the gap for a base hit. Brushwine misses the cutoff man, and into second base goes Sam Alexander with a double.
Hit well and hit right in between Brushwine and Blanchard. Neither one could really get to it. The lefty Brushwine had to get it spin around and try to make a hard throw. Just missed Lashua on the cutoff. The ball kind of carried into the infield. Cox able to wrangle it, but Alexander with the double.
Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn, live at Auburn Suburban Little League, Austin Field. Undisclosed camera guy as well on the video stream side of things. Pitch from St. Pierre is in there for a strike to O'Neill, the right fielder. It's the second time we've had a ball hit like towards us.
Very close.
Going on. Yeah.
Very close.
Starting to fall in love with this view a little bit. 0-1, off speed is in there for a strike, 0-2.
Nobody really holding Alexander close at second. They must not think he's much of a running threat, but neither Cox nor Lashua are making an effort to keep him close.
That's going to be fouled back. Runner on second, 1 out, top of the second, 2-0 Mount Ararat over Edward Little.
First real hard hit ball that time for Mount Ararat was a double by Alexander. St. Pierre's had their number for the most part here through 1 1/3.
0-2 from St. Pierre is going to cross up Varney, it looks like, and down to third base will head Alexander. Mount Ararat has a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Now a 1-2 count on Jacob O'Neill.
Don't see a pass ball too often with Brandon Varney, and he'll take time right now to go out and have a conversation with Damien St. Pierre. Get on the right page in terms of sequence for signals. Definitely looking for a curveball that time. You can see he dropped his glove right at the last second. The fastball caught up to him very quickly.
So the rain's going to probably go from steady to light for about the next hour, according to this bad boy.
Okay.
One-two pitch from St. Pierre is going to be fouled away at the plate. We'll do it all over again. Oxford Hills softball saw their season come to an end today. They got upset by Skowhegan 8-3, I believe. I believe that was the final score. Dave Wingbrush had called for that one earlier on the Ox. Aaron Morse, Nick Perry are up at Messalonsky for Edward Little softball in Z1055 and AM 1240. That 1-2 pitch is also fouled off, and we'll do it again.
Looks like O'Neill has St. Pierre timed up right, but just not able to square anything up. Crafty lefty keeping him off balance enough. I got to think he's got to go to the big breaking ball here, way up in the count.
1-2 pitch. That was the breaking ball. Steve, it's almost like you know the game of baseball, but the breaking ball was high, 2-2.
Missed a little bit too high, trying to be too fine with it and dropping in on the outside half. I like to see that pitch offered over the middle or middle of the plate anyway, or even sometimes the inner half, and have it break out of the zone.
2-2 pitch from St. Pierre to O'Neill is outside, 3-2. You know, I'm looking up in BIM's press box, and they kept telling us they were going to have room for us up there. Do you see any room for us up there?
They have a placard out for us, but
yeah.
I don't think there was much room up there.
That pitch is going to be fouled, cue-balled, and through. That is a seeing eye single into right field. Alexander scores, and it's 2-1 Edward Little in the top of the second.
Yeah, not hit well, off balance for sure, but O'Neill got enough of it to hit it to the right side, and Lashua ranging to his left-hand side just couldn't get to it. Harris at first couldn't get to it on his glove side either, the lefty. And really the ball just kind of squeaked through to Brushwine in right field. Run scoring single there for Alexander, and now we're in a one-run game.
Kyle Brennan steps in. Right-handed hitter for Ararat. Pitch is bounced in there. Nice play by Varney to get that to bounce off his chest. O'Neill will stay right where he is at first base.
St. Pierre working hard to try to get on top of the ball to live low in the strike zone. That time kind of spiked it. Varney, textbook block behind the plate. Nice effort by him.
1-0 pitch from St. Pierre is high 2-0. Seems like St. Pierre's lost his release point all of a sudden.
Yeah, Brennan had, out of the hand, had no intention of swinging at that pitch. They're looking to see a strike here if they can from St. Pierre.
And they get one there, 2-1.
The game within the game of baseball is how the count affects what's going on in the mind of the hitter and the mind of the pitcher.
Throw over to first, run it back.
Always got to make sure with a left-handed pitcher that he is moving towards the plate if you're a runner on first.
The 2-1 pitch. Inside, 3-1.
Moody, the hitter on deck, looking for his first at bat.
That pitch is going to be flared foul into the Edward Little dugout. Count is now full at 3-2. Edward Little got 2 in the first. Mount Ararat's got 1 here in the second. It's 2-1 EL. High school baseball playoffs here in the Ox. Video stream at mbr.org.
See if Coach Nairn sends O'Neill from first to try to stay out of the double play. Plenty of speed from the right fielder.
The 2-1 pitch is fouled away. Excuse me, the 3-2 pitch is fouled away, and it'll be 3-2 again coming up. Do it all over again.
Looked like Brennan fouled it off of his left foot. Taking a little walk, but I think he'll be fine. Rain seems to have let up. I don't see it, I don't hear it. So we'll take it. Players will take it.
Yeah, we're out in right field under a great big tent, so as soon as it rains, we hear it. It's like an immediate thing. Off speed from St. Pierre is just a bit outside. Down to first goes Brennan, and now Moody, the second baseman, will come in. The runners on first and second with 1 out here on the bottom of the second. Wondering when we're going to see the, there it is. I was waiting for the visit to the mound. Wasn't sure if it was going to be Varney or Coach Jordan, but figured it would be one of the two.
Garrett Moody had a complete game victory against the Vikings, only threw 78 pitches in that game. And we saw a lot. We saw a couple of 5-pitch innings, 6-pitch innings, real aggressive swinging from the Vikings. But now Moody, the 9th place hitter, playing second base today with an opportunity to tie this game up.
Off speed from St. Pierre's in there for a strike. 0-1. Yeah, Oxford Hills is very aggressive, and the balls that they hit sharply were always hit right at somebody.
Yep.
0-1 pitch. Off speed high, 1-1.
St. Pierre's worked into quite a few deep counts today. Hasn't been very efficient with his pitches.
1-1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the second inning. Low, 2-1.
He's not finishing. You can see he's not finishing on his left side. He's kind of stopping short, and his arm is kind of moving backwards. He's not following all the way through. Typically want to teach follow through so that the catcher can read the number on your back.
Pitch is bounced in there. Varney does a good job of, well, I guess not, because it squeaked right back to the backstop and the runners advance. Looked like he had it under control for a second, but it squeezed by him. And now Dave Jordan will go out to the mound, figure out what's happening. How long do you think it'll take him before he has to make a decision here? And who does he warm up? Because Varney's, you know, you would think Varney would be your next guy up, but he's catching.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's got a lot of different guys that he can use. He's already going to send somebody out right now. We'll have to see if we can get a number on him. If I had to guess, I'm going to say it's C.J. Gibson.
Yep, that would be my guess too.
And that's exactly who it is. C.J. Gibson now warming up in the Eddie's bullpen.
Now, is that a situation where if they have to replace him within the inning, they can get Gibson in from the bullpen and then maybe bring Varney in afterwards, or they let Gibson go a little longer?
Well, it really depends on whether or not Gibson's able to come in if they choose to go to him and throw strikes. What Jordan wants here is the ability to throw strikes. You get in and get a couple of runs. It's really important after you score runs to be able to come out and shut down the team in the next half inning.
Pitch is in there for a strike. Whatever he said worked. 0-1. Count is now 3-2 to Moody.
O'Neill, the runner at third. Brennan, the runner at second.
Leslie on deck. 1 out. Pitch is going to be lined to short. And that'll be a double play as Cox gets it over to Lashua. The runners had already moved off of second base, and that will wrap that. Mount Ararat gets 1. We are midway through the second. 2-1 Edward Little. You're listening to High School Baseball Playoffs on the Ox. I want to take a second here and talk about the Maine High School Baseball 2016 postseason All-Star Showcase game dates. On June 23rd, Thursday at St. Joe's College, the Maine Underclass Showcase game will be at 1 p.m. On Friday, June 24th, the Maine Senior All-Star game, East versus West, will be up at Colby College. Class C and D 3:30, A and B 6:30. Also, the presentation of the Mr. Baseball Award will be done as well. And then on Sunday, June 26th, the Maine versus New Hampshire Senior All-Star game, noon start time for that one. MBR is pleased to announce we will be video broadcasting all of those games for you. For more information on all of it, go to edgesportsmaine.com/MEBCA. Welcome back on the radio side of things. It's the Central Maine Community College Game of the Week, 92.7 The Ox. Edward Little, Mount Ararat. It is the regional semifinals for Northern A here. Mount Ararat just scratched one across the board. It is 2-1 Edward Little coming up here in the bottom of the second.
8-9-1 for Edward Little. Mason Brushwine, Damian St. Pierre, and then back to the top of the lineup, Austin Cox. The leadoff hitter will bat third in this inning. Brushwine a lefty and St. Pierre a lefty. So lefty-lefty here, 8-9 for the righty Glass. Kind of a strange release point for Glass. Cocks his arm almost like a catcher. Asking Mello to play to the first base side of second.
Apparently had an itch he needed to scratch. That's better now. We're good.
He's good.
He's good. He's all set. Bunt popped up at the plate. 1 away. Nice play by Cox. Nice play by Cox there to grab that.
Cam Cox popped right out. Again, another bunt that we've seen popped up right at home plate. That time Brushwine got a decent pitch to bunt on, but dropped that barrel, popped it up. Cox didn't have to go far.
Pitch is a ball. Damian St. Pierre at the dish, the 9-hole hitter. And that is going to be lined right in front of us for a base hit. O'Neill tracks it down. He gets it back in. And Edward Little has a 1-out single. And stop me if you've heard this one, Steve. St. Pierre helping his own cause there.
Helping his own cause. I tell you, he hit that ball well, struck it into the gap on one hopper. O'Neill able to cut it off, took a nice angle to the ball. St. Pierre with a hard round as he came to first base, but a long, hard single for St. Pierre.
Throw over to first, runner back. Nice job there by undisclosed camera guy. I'm watching the video to kind of call this in certain spots, and he actually knew. It's like he knew that he was going to throw into first base there.
Perfect.
Impressive. It was well done. That pitch is going to be bounced, and St. Pierre is going to go rolling down to second. He'll take a wide turn at second, but he'll stay right there. Now it'll be interesting to see what Cox does.
Cox had a single through the left side in the first, scored the first run for the Eddies on Plord's double.
Good crowd here today. Pitch is going to be grounded into left field for a base hit. St. Pierre will take a Gander in left field. He'll stay right where he is. Cox will move up to second on the throw in.
Pair of singles now for Cox, and advancing to second on the fielder's choice. The throw from Brennan in left field overshot the cutoff man, the third baseman, Leslie, and that allowed Cox to circle on another 90 feet. And now runners at second and third with just one out. And Tyler Blanchard, who singled and scored the second run on a sac fly by Lashua, now up for a second at bat.
Pitch to Blanchard is a strike. I can hear Mr. Goading all the way out here.
It's fantastic. Exactly how you want it.
Off speed is going to be fisted into left field, into center field actually. That'll be Mello who tracks that down. St. Pierre will tag. He'll get in. 3-1 Edward Little. That'll be a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Tyler Blanchard. Cox will remain at second with 2 away now in the bottom of the second.
St. Pierre officially able to help himself out there with the single and able to come around and score a run. So 2-run lead here for Edward Little. And Jared Plord, who had a run-scoring double, now for his second at bat.
Glass looks back at second. Runner goes, and that's going to be behind Plord. And Cox easily gets into third. Got that brand new white uniform just destroyed.
Yeah,
dirt.
all dirty now.
And it's muddy dirt, too. It's
without
not like,
question.
It's not like he could just dust it off. It's,
nope.
You know, that's...
It's aggressive base running right there for Cox, and they saw something. And the fact that Glass wasn't burying his looks or really checking on the runner much at second, so Cox got a great jump.
Pitch is low. 2-0. By the way, you looked at the weather forecast for next week?
Have not.
Wait till you see it.
Oh, boy.
Pitch outside 3-0.
So state finals is typically, it's like one of those steadies. So I haven't seen it, so speaking completely out of ignorance.
Tuesday we may have, it looks like they're going to intentionally walk forward here.
They're going to put him on.
That'll send up Lashua. Tuesday looks like it could have a little bit of rain, but everything else for the rest of the week, low 80s. Not a cloud in the forecast.
Okay, that's what we tend to get for regionals and the state game. A good 80 degree sunny day.
The question is, can we get a small enough tent for the roof at St. Joe's so that we don't die in the sun? That's the question.
That would be a question.
Lashua watches that one bounce in there, and Glass, I'd say he's lost his release point, but I don't think he's had it from the beginning.
You can't lose it if you don't find it to begin
Right.
with. Lashua had a sacrifice fly out to left field, and Kyle Brennan in his first at bat.
Lashua lines it just past Glass's glove for a base hit. Cox scores, and Plord gets over to third. Runners on the corners for the Eddies, and it's 4-1 in the bottom of the second. Edward Little looking to pour it on here. Of course, the 10-run mercy rule's in play. If they have a lead of over 10 runs, this game could be over by the bottom of the fifth. So Edward Little, I'm sure, is be very happy to have that happen, but not thinking about it right now.
Plord was off with the pitch that time, and the ball singled through the right side and never hitched, never gave up whatsoever. Hard turn around second and all the way to third. He's 90 feet away from plating another run here for the Red Eddies.
Pitch by Glass is low. They're going to throw it down to second. They tried to run a little double steal action there with Lashua faking the run to second and try to get Plord home. Instead, nice play there by Moody to field it, look the runners back, and nobody moves anywhere.
I always say that the standard first to third play should be that the shortstop covers second and the second baseman cuts the throw off if the runner goes home, because he's moving towards home plate and he can see the play.
Pitch is high.
But a lot of times in first and third situations, you'll see a catcher come out and give all these different signs. They'll fake the throw to second, throw to third, throw it right at the short. Don't make it complicated. Really keep it fundamental.
Pitch is going to be grounded too short. Runners are going. Nice play there by Merrill over to Alexander. Alexander had a great stretch, and that will end the second. Edward Little gets 2 more. They lead 4-1. You're listening to high school baseball on the Ox. Want to take a second here to remind you over on the video side of things that Hoop Camp has an exclusive discount announcement. Pleased to announce a partnership with Hoop Basketball Camp. It means only not-for-profit summer basketball camp. They're celebrating their 46th summer of instruction from college, high school, and youth coaches from across Maine and New England. There are special July 4th discount pricing on now for 6th and 7th grade boys. For more information, go to hoopcamp.org. That is hoopcamp.org. I got to do one quick thing here, and then I'm handing it over to you. Welcome back. Top of the 3rd inning. Also want to give some graduation congratulations to a couple of graduates from Lake Region. Brandon and Caitlin, congratulations. They'll be graduating from Lake Region tomorrow. Congratulations from Uncle Gene, who's on the board for us back at the Gleason Media Palatial Estate Studios in beautiful downtown Norrie, Maine. It's the top of the 3rd inning. That means it's time for a little Flingenuity. He's going to take over on your play-by-play.
Top of the lineup cycles up for the Eagles of Mount Ararat. It'll be Nate Leslie, Cam Cox, and Nick Merrill. Leslie walked in his first at bat. They'll face Damien St. Pierre in his 3rd inning of work. He's just waiting for his catcher, Brandon Varney, to come out, donning the tools of ignorance. And EL will wrap up their warm-ups here. Coach Jordan following Varney out to the plate. Not sure if there's been a change in the field. I don't see it. So St. Pierre will just take a couple of warm-up tosses off on the side as Mr. Jordan and Mr. Godding have a conversation.
Now Mr. Godding's going to have another conversation, it looks like. Or he's just going to get out of the way. Either way, entirely up to him, I guess.
So I think we've got an injury to Mr. Varney, maybe? Can't really tell here.
Yeah, he did not look comfortable coming off the...
So we're going to have Drew Lashawa will come in from second base. Lashawa will go behind the dish, and we'll see who the replacement is at second base. Likely Bo Norcross, C.J. Gibson. We've seen a couple of people play.
That'll be C.J. Gibson.
And it is. So Gibson will be your second baseman. And then Drew Lashawa will move behind the dish and catch St. Pierre.
That, I assume, is going to mean that Gibson is going to replace Varney in the order in the 5 hole.
He will.
Okay.
He will.
I actually brought a pen today. Like the craziness of being
fantastic.
Prepared. It's just, I don't know. It's, don't get used to it, but I think I've got this down.
Must have been something that happened on that last play. Varney grounded out to short on the very last at bat of the bottom half of the 2nd inning. So the senior Varney will, regrettably, no question, take a seat and support his Eddies while Lashawa gets geared up here. I would imagine they'll let him take a couple of pitches.
It looked like it was he was reaching for kind of the lower back as he was walking off. I mean, I can't. We're out in right field. I don't have the binoculars. Stevie has the binoculars, but that's kind of. It looked like he was reaching for that. Whether it was something on his side, I don't know if he got spiked or if he got kneed or what it was, but he just did not look comfortable.
An oblique strain or something like that. And they're going to call for a hitter immediately. So Lashawa, raw, just comes right in, mask, chest protector, shinnies and glove, and he's ready to sit and fire and receive what St. Pierre has to offer. Top of the 3rd inning, 4-1 Eddies. Here's the first pitch. Pitch is high, 1-0 to the hitter, Leslie. Again, it'll be Leslie, Cox, and Merrill for the Eagles.
It was zipped right in there. High.
1-0 a strike, 1-1. Now the count to Leslie. Austin Field at Auburn Suburban Little League. Cloudy, rain is holding off. Here's the 1-1. Curveball misses high. 2-1. Now your count.
That made my knees buckle, and I'm not even hitting.
Boy, he's got a lot of movement on that breaking pitch. You can see it very well from here. 2-1, misses, 3-1 now. Eddie's playing him straight away. St. Pierre takes time, rubs up the ball. Always good to reset. Here's the 3-1. Fastball popped up to the right side. Harris looking, bidding. He'll catch it in foul territory for the first out.
Nice play by Harris to know right where he was for the fence. Get himself set, reach back, and get the ball. By the way, I was told 87 next Saturday.
87.
87.
Fantastic.
Saturday.
Tank top weather.
Yeah. It'll be
Great. It was
sun's out, guns out.
40 mile an hour winds and 15 degrees yesterday.
Yeah. Welcome to Maine.
First pitch to Cox. High 1-0 to the catcher. Grounded out to Lashua at second base, who has since been replaced by C.J. Gibson. 1-0 from St. Pierre. Ball 2.
I didn't even tell you. It took me 40 minutes to unthaw after the game the other night.
Oh,
I was in that shower for 40 minutes, and that was the hottest shower I've ever taken in my life.
Long time.
It took me a while to feel my feet.
2-0 pitch misses. Now 3-0. St. Pierre way behind and deep into another count. Cox your hitter, Merrill on deck. 3-0 pitch, a called strike.
I get home and the wife looks at me. She's like, "Why is your lip quivering like you're cold?" And I'm like, "I don't even want to start with you.
Football.
It's not happening."
3-1 line to center. Blanchard's got a bead on it, hit right at him, and able to collect it for the second out. Nice job by Tyler Blanchard. Actually had a small conversation with him before the game. There is no green awning behind home plate, so I wondered how the cars behind home plate and some of the spectators affected him seeing the ball off the bat. Didn't have any trouble that time.
There's even a white car that's almost parked directly behind home plate,
Yeah.
so you'd think that would make it more difficult.
First pitch to Nick Merrill, a called ball. He was a strikeout victim in his first at bat. 2 down here, top of the third. Edward Little leads the Eagles of Mount Ararat 4-1.
I tried to be mindful when setting up here. Of course, I asked Dave Jordan before the game if we could set up out here off to the left. He's like, yeah, not in the batter's eye, you're good. Somebody parks a white car right behind home plate. You're like, okay, well, I don't think they asked to park it there. I don't think they did.
1-0 pitch misses, 2-0 now. Right behind home plate, too.
Yeah.
Pitch swung on, fouled off, 2-1 now to the shortstop Merrill. Ryan Mello, also a strikeout victim, is on deck. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the third. 2-1 misses high, 3-1. Rain pitter-pattering the tent.
Just pitter-pattering, though. It's not pattering at this point.
3-1 pitch swung on, fouled back towards said white car. And slightly missing. Count now full. Swung on, hit through the left side and past the diving Max Bell at third. Pelord will collect it and toss it into the infield. Nice base hit that time by Nick Merrill. Worked himself a nice count, got a good pitch to hit, and drove it into the outfield.
That was a great attempt by Bell. I thought he was actually going to come up with it, but that was hit so hard. I mean, that was tough.
He had a great bit at it, no doubt about that. Ryan Mello now, strikeout victim to end the first. First pitch, a curveball misses, 1-0. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the third. Runner at first, Nick Merrill. St. Pierre misses with a fastball, 2-0 to the hitter Mello. Nice job by C.J. Gibson and Austin Cox backing up the pitcher on every throwback. Those little minutia are important. Here's the 2-0. Pitch misses low, 3-0 now. And St. Pierre struggling a little bit to find Lashua's mitt.
Rhythm is a dancer, and it's danced away from Damian St. Pierre here.
Easy to say it's the changeup behind the dish, but really St. Pierre's been somewhat inconsistent comparatively to what we've seen this year with his release point. Here's the 3-0. Called strike. So it's obvious now he could find it. Back-to-back hitters 3-0. He's able to get in there and find it. Just got to remember what it feels like. Here's the 3-1. Pitch swung on, grounded, chopped towards third. Bell will come through it, throw over to first, and he got him.
What
nice
a
play. Whew. After 2.5 innings, Eddie's 4, Mount Ararat 1. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
A reminder once again, our presenting sponsor for video broadcasts all year long is OA, Orthopedic Associates. Join them on Saturday, June 18th for the grand opening of Ortho Access at OA. All sorts of folks will be on hand to celebrate from 10 a.m. to noon. There'll be giveaways, prizes, food, and more. For more information, visit orthoassociates.com or find them and like them on Facebook and Twitter. Excuse me for that. That just snuck right out there like, hey, what are we doing? Like, what?
It just sneaks right up on you.
Just snuck right up on you.
Those are the worst ones.
Those are the worst. I'm like, where did that come from? What was that? I feel like Rick Simons doing the Red Claws a few years ago. I don't think I'm going to make Deadspin, though. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know if Ernie Clark lost internet coverage, but...
Coming back. Welcome back.
High school playoffs here on 92.7 The Ox, presented in part with MBR.
Yeah.
Live at mbr.org. We move into the bottom half of the third inning. 4-1, Edward Little leads Mount Ararat. It will be Grant Hartley, Max Bell, Mason Brushwine, 6, 7, and 8 for the Running Red Eddies. Running Red Eddies. Running, yeah.
The Running Red Eddies.
Yeah.
I think we should.
They're Running Red Eddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that's what we should call them.
What is an eddy? How about that?
Well, it's some type of ghost, from what I gather.
It's defined as a swirl of water. You see them a lot in kayaking. Not that I do a whole lot of kayaking.
Is that why the... Yeah, I don't either. I can't even get into a canoe.
Glass's first pitch to Hartley. Misses. It's a ball. 1-0 to the big sophomore lefty.
Yeah, I've been in a canoe a few times. That's an adventure that no one... First off, somebody should bring a camera for, and second, I should not ever do.
It's always worse for the other person.
Always.
1-0 pitch called strike to Hartley. 1-1. A walk in his first at bat. He's designated hitting for Ben Harris, who's the first baseman today. Here's the 1-1 from Glass. Misses. Happy feet for Hartley. 2-1 now. As I believe that's Ben Harris that's warming up. I can't get a number. Yes.
Yep. We are a little closer to the bullpen here, so we can actually see what's going on.
We can see that. 2-1 misses. 3-1 now. Pitch swung on, hit hard to the left side, hit right at Kyle Brennan. Has to circle slightly, but able to haul it in for the first out here in the bottom half of the third. Hartley struck it well, but it was the old Adam ball.
Good play there by Brennan, too. He kind of stepped back for a second, but instead of stepping back and getting nervous and not knowing where to go, he just kind of waited for it. He slid over to where he needed to be. Good play there by Brennan to make that easier than make it easy.
They're seeing it well off the bat. First pitch to Max Bell. Swung on, grounded to second. Moody collects it over to first. And just like that, a second out here in the bottom half of the third.
He really snagged that one. It was funny. He kind of olayed it, and he came up in his glove. I don't know how many times I see that, and the ball goes straight up in the air afterwards, or it hits the heel of the glove. He did it, stayed right in there. He got it over to first. Mount Ararat has 2 away quickly, and probably important for Glass here for his confidence to get these 2 quick outs.
No question. It's been the quickest inning that he's had. Now Mason Brushwine, 0 for 1. Brushwine had a bunt attempt that was caught by the catcher Cam Cox. Looking to redeem himself here with 2 outs in the bottom half of the third. Eddie's up 4-1. Pitch swung on, fouled straight back. It was up about chest high. Brushwine liked it.
Did the white car move?
I think there's just somebody sitting in front of it.
Is there somebody in front of it now? All right.
Pitch swung on, hit through the right side, and a nice base hit that time by Brushwine. Moody couldn't get to it whatsoever, and Alexander never even saw it. Nice hit by Brushwine to pull it through to the left side. The speedy left-hander now on first base. And that'll bring up Damian St. Pierre. Singled, scored a run in the second inning. That's the 7th hit for Edward Little here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch to St. Pierre, a called strike. Through the bottom of the 3rd, I guess. Not in the bottom of the 3rd, through the bottom. 7th hit through the bottom of the 3rd. They haven't got them all in this inning. Here's the 0-1. Nope. Throw over to first. Quick throw. Alexander snap tag, but no good. 4-1 here. Eddie's up over Mount Ararat. We're in the bottom half of the 3rd. Pitch to St. Pierre, strike 2. 0-2 now to the left-handed pitcher from Edward Little. Looking to see if he can advance this inning along. 0-2. Brushwine running with the pitch. Good throw down to second. And rung up at the base.
Nice tag.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a heck of a throw that time by Cam Cox. The throw definitely beat him. Good tag as well. And 2-4 on the putout is Brushwine. After 3 innings of play, Eddie's 4, Mount Ararat 1. It's the MPA baseball playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
Welcome back.
MPA baseball playoffs here on 92.7 The Ox. Edward Little 4, Mount Ararat 1. We move into the top half of the 4th inning. Do have a final we want to bring you from Bangor. Bangor winning their semifinal 5-0 over Brewers. So winner here, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, so now it comes to fruition and I get to go with it. The winner here gets a date with Delate. What do you think about that?
Oh.
Huh? Huh? Here we go.
Well
Okay.
done, Stevie. Well done.
It'll be Mutal, Alexander, and O'Neill. First pitch, a strike to Mutal. 0-1.
That game, of course, would be on Tuesday up in Augusta.
Breaking pitch, called strike, 0-2. Now to the designated hitter. Strikeout victim in his first at bat. Swung on, fouled hard off to the right-hand side towards the batting cages. Fans, watch out. Those umbrellas. The scary part of those umbrellas, Matty, somebody else can't see a ball that might be knifing at you, so you got to be very careful over there. Here's the 0-2 to Mutal. Swung on, hit towards the right side. It'll be out of play. Again, he's way late on the fastball from St. Pierre.
That was the other reason I was looking at this instead of third base, because we had some close calls in the last game.
Just what you would expect. Big curveball from St. Pierre. You can see when a guy gets late on the fastball like that a couple of times in a row, his general thought is, I got to speed up the bat. When he wants to speed up the bat, you slow down the ball. Good thought, not the best execution. Now the 1-2 here to Mutal. Fastball swung on towards Cox at short. He'll collect it, throw over to Ben Harris, and 1 down here in the top of the 4th.
Nice play there by Cox. A lot of times guys will rush that. He kind of waited, collected it, threw it over, made a nice throw. Made it routine.
You got to have your feet about you, and if you don't have a good solid base when you're collecting the ball, it just makes it risky. Sam Alexander had a double, scored a run for Mount Ararat. First baseman steps in here against St. Pierre. First pitch, a curveball, ball. 1-0. Strike, 1-1 now to Sam Alexander. Alexander only a sophomore for Mount Ararat. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed, strike 2. Pitch was way up around his chin. Alexander liked it. Took a chop at it.
Nothing you could really do with that pitch either. You love to swing at it, but there's nothing you can do except pop it up or chop it into the ground.
He'll tomahawk. Curveball. Called strike on the swing, and strike 3. Nice pitch that time by Damian St. Pierre. He'll pick up his 4th strikeout here today, and that'll bring up Jacob O'Neill, who is 1 for 1.
No relation to Paul, although he does play the same position.
Absolutely does. I wonder if he can kick the ball to first base.
I haven't seen him try to break a bat over his knee either, which is key.
First pitch, a strike to O'Neill. Had a singles with an RBI. Scored the lone run for the Eagles here, who trail 4-1 in the top of the 4th. 2 down. 0-1 misses. 1-1 now to the hitter O'Neill. He'll be followed by Kyle Brennan. Rain picking up again here slightly. Curveball to O'Neill, swung on and through, strike 2. That's been the big pitch for St. Pierre all game long. It's been that big breaking ball. And now way up, he's got the option to go to it here again, 1-2. Swung on, hit to Gibson at second. He'll collect it, over to Harris at first. Through 3.5 innings of play, Edward Little 4, Mount Ararat 1. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
Maine High School Baseball 2016 Postseason All-Star Showcase game dates June 23rd, Maine Underclass Showcase game at St. Joseph's College. On Friday, June 24th, the Maine Senior All-Star game, East versus West, up at Colby College, and Maine versus New Hampshire Senior All-Star game Sunday, June 26th at Holman Stadium in Nashua. We will be broadcasting these events on MBR.org. Replays will be up in 1080 high definition. For more information, visit edgesportsmaine.com/MEBCA. And we are about to be back on the radio side of things right now.
Welcome back to Austin Field at Auburn Suburban Little League. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox. Edward Little Red Eddies, running Red Eddies, lead by a score of 4-1 over the Eagles of Mount Ararat. We move into the bottom half of the 4th inning. Your hitters this inning will be Damian St. Pierre in the 9-hole, and then back to the top of the lineup, Austin Cox and Tyler Blanchard for the Red Eddies.
I'm going to send it back to the station here real quick for a legal ID. You're listening to The Ox.
Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning, score update. Edward Little softball 1, Messalonsky nothing.
Interesting.
Game goes on.
That game, of course, is over on our sister station, Z1055 and AM 1240.
First pitch to St. Pierre, fouled off to the left-hand side. 0-1 to the pitcher.
You know, the one thing I have noticed today is, you know how the other day it was like ball after ball after ball kept going over to the third baseline? Not one has been hit there today. Not one.
0-1 swung on and missed. 0-2 now to St. Pierre.
You try to protect the camera and the camera guy, and then like you bring him out here, and nothing happens where you previously were. It's just stunning.
Pitch lined into right field. Another beautiful hit by St. Pierre, and almost in the identical same spot to the right center gap. 2 for 2 now for the pitcher, helping himself out.
Which is what you like to see.
Absolutely.
If you're a pitcher, you really should.
Why not?
Of course, yeah. I'm on record as hating the designated hitter and have for years. So
I would echo that same sentiment.
These guys are all baseball players their entire lives, and all of a sudden one day we just decide, you know what, you're too fragile to pitch anymore. Well, you're too fragile to hit now because you're a pitcher.
And it'll be interesting to see if Madison Baumgartner does get an opportunity to take part in the home run derby. He was hitting home runs in the upper deck at the Cardinal Stadium. I mean, just absolute bombs. Let him hit. I think we may have a pitching change. And we will.
We do have a pitching change. We'll tell you who it is coming up. We'll take a break. We'll take a 1-minute break. You're listening to The Ox. Mutal.
That's an easy one on the book.
Does make it easy when you can just substitute them out like that.
Pitch running.
Welcome back.
MPA playoffs here on 92.70 Ox. Pitching change here. Harper Mutal will be the new pitcher for Ryan Glass. A nice, easy switch for those of you keeping score at home. Just strike out the designated hitter, put a 1 next to his name. No need to erase or cross too many things out in your scorebook.
See,
Love that.
That makes it easy.
Big fan. Big fan. Final line. Well, we can't zip up the line yet on Mr. Glass until we figure out what happens to St. Pierre. So none out here. Bottom of the 4th inning. Eddie's 4, Mount Ararat 1. And here's the first pitch to Austin Cox. It's a ball. Throw down a first, not in time. Safely back in the pinch runner, Christian Beliveau, who is running for St. Pierre. Cox 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Also scored a couple of runs. Mutal looked like he featured fastball, curveball in his warm-ups. 1-0 to Cox, misses. Now 2-0 to the shortstop. Mutal keeping an eye at Beliveau. Pitch to Cox, grounded back to Mutal. He'll go to second for the first one. Merrill collects it in the dirt and cannot convert on the double play. So it'll be 1-6 and no error on the play. You cannot assume the double play. Cox will reach on a fielder's choice.
That was a nice play there by Alexander to ensure that it didn't go back to the fence.
Absolutely, because Cox is plenty speedy enough. He would have been right down to scoring position.
Ben Harris is getting all warmed up in the bullpen. You wonder if he's going to be coming in because he looks like he's firing on all cylinders in the pen.
So with 1 out here, Tyler Blanchard, 1 for 1, takes the first pitch of ball. Again, snap throw from Cox down to first. About an 85-footer. Alexander with a nice block down there, trying to do the same job that Cox is doing behind the plate.
I was about to say, we might want to get him a chest protector if he's going to do that again.
Here's, snap throw, easy throw over to first. They are concerned about Cox.
Isn't everyone?
Very speedy over there.
Yeah.
1-0. Pitch misses away. 2-0 now to Blanchard. Blanchard a single, scored a run on the first, then had a sacrifice fly to Mello in the second to score Cox. 2-0, a curveball, a strike. 1 down here. Bottom of the 4th inning. Eddies are up 3, 4-1. Check on Cox over at first, and pitch popped off to the right-hand side, but out of play.
A good job of fighting that one off on the 2-2 count now.
That was a pitch that was kind of in on his hands, and he did a nice job pulling inside of it, still getting the bat to it, fouling off a tough pitch. So Blanchard, a very capable hitter, the center fielder, looking to keep this inning alive. Cox, your runner at first. Big curveball, popped up, out of play. Looked like Alexander might have had a play on it near the fence, but he didn't. It's a tough call to make from where we are here in right field. It's funny how no matter where you are on a baseball field, there's a couple of lines that can be very tough to see. That tends to be one of them.
Doesn't matter. We could be on a drone above this field, and there's something that we'd be like, oh, that angle, we can't quite get to that. It's just
no question.
kind of surprised they haven't turned the lights on yet.
Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. First strikeout for Mutal. And now Jared Plord, who's 1 for 1, had a double, which scored a run, that being Austin Cox, and then was intentionally walked in the second. 2 down, bottom of the 4th. Curveball, strike.
It's a good pitch.
Big looping curveball, and Jared Norcross Plord had all kinds of time to take a look at the spin on it and see it out of his hand. I don't think he'll get fooled by that one again. Cox the runner at first. 0-1. Swung on, hit deep to the left side. Going back. Caught by Mello. Boy, I'll tell you what, it gave it a good ride, hit it well, just not square enough. And after 4 innings of play, Edward Little 4, Mount Ararat 1. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
Still time to sign up for Hoop Camp. We've got special July 4th discount pricing for boys in 6th and 7th grade. It's a 46-year tradition of basketball instruction in a New England summer camp setting. State champion coaches, professional basketball players, NBA assistant coach Josh Longstaff, and current and former high school varsity coaches will be clinicians and lecturers. For more information, register now at hoopcamp.org. Welcome back.
MPA playoffs brought to you in part by MBR. We're at Austin Field at Auburn Suburban Little League. Headed into the 5th inning of play here. Winner will take on Bangor at Morton Field in Augusta on Tuesday, 5 o'clock start time, I believe. For Mount Ararat, it's going to be 8-9-1. Kyle, Brennan, Garrett, Moody, and Nate Leslie. 8-9-1. First pitch swung on, fouled away, 0-1 to Brennan. Brennan 0 for 0. Walked in his first at bat. How about that? Wasn't expecting to see that or say that. One and one now to Brennan. Pitch swung on, hit to Cox at short. He'll collect it, make the throw over to Harris at first. 6-3 in your scorebook. And the leadoff hitter is retired by Damian St. Pierre.
Edward Little leads Mesolonsky 1-0 in the top of the 7th.
Boy, oh boy. It's going to be interesting to see what that softball team can pull off. Garrett Moody now lined out to Cox at short. Swung on, hit down the right field line. It'll be fair. Brushwine will collect it. Moody takes a hard turn around first, but not even interested in going to second. And a base hit that time by Moody.
That was actually a really good play there by Brushwine, because a lot of times guys are waiting for the call, and while they're waiting for the call, the guy on first can scoot into second. He was there, he fielded it, he was right where he was supposed to be and got the ball in time to hold the runner at first base.
So Nate Leslie now, 0 for 1, had a walk and popped out to Harris at first.
Now St. Pierre and Lashua are going to have a little conversation on the mound. I wonder how Lashua catches with all that hair. I mean, does the helmet fit right?
Got to figure it out. He's got to have his own gear.
Yeah.
So Moody, your runner at first. We've got one down here, top of the 5th. St. Pierre takes a look at Moody at first, comes to the set. Pitches a ball. 1-0 to Leslie. Clouds remain. Rain has held off.
Knock on plastic.
Knock on plastic. Here's the 1-0. Ball. 2-0. You know, if the white car wasn't enough behind home plate, I'm sure the white car with the lights on.
I'm sure that's helpful.
I'm
sure that's a big key.
Not even better.
That's going to
Wow.
be, yeah. That's easy to pick up the ball in. No big deal.
Here's the 2-0 to Leslie. No, throw over to first. Looks like he got him, and he did.
What a
good pickoff move that time by St. Pierre. Got Moody leaning as he lifted his knee and made the quick snap throw over to Harris to get the speedy Moody out at first base.
really good play there by St. Pierre as well, not only to do everything right, but to do that without balking.
Yeah.
Guys do that all the time. They get called for balk, and you're like, nope, didn't there.
Pitch to Leslie, now a called strike. It'll be 2-1 on him. And 2 down now in the top of the 5th. Here's the 2-1 to the third baseman. Breaking pitch misses up.
I think. I mean, it missed.
Maybe out.
I
I'm thinking
guess,
up.
Yeah. It looked good from here, but, you know.
Here's a 3-1. Fastball lined into right field. Nice piece of hitting that time by Leslie. Gibson had him shaded slightly towards the first base line and couldn't get to his backhand side. And now Cam Cox, who is 0 for 2, will step in with 2 down in the top of the 5th.
Now how big is that pickoff play? Because now you don't have runners on first and second or runners on the corners.
Well, and that runner on base really puts a lot of pressure on whichever outfielder collects the ball. Those little types of things can go far, especially in a 4-run game. First pitch to Cox, a called strike. 0-1 to the catcher.
Based on where that pitch was called a strike, I would say the one that he had before missed up.
Missed up. Leslie, your runner at first. St. Pierre takes a look at him. Pitch to Cox. Leslie off with the pitch. Lashua, good throw down to second. Gibson just couldn't collect it. Throw beat him. Might have been a little bit towards the first base side, but if Gibson collects that, puts the tag straight down, Leslie is out, no question. But slightly thrown, almost like a receiver who's running a pattern and the ball gets thrown behind him a little bit. Gibson angry with himself, not able to collect that.
That's exactly what it was, too. It was like a guy wide open for a screen. It was thrown just a little bit behind him. It went off his hand.
So the 0-1 to Cox. Ball high, 1-1.
Be quite the upset if Edward Little softball beat Messalonsky.
Yeah, it most certainly would.
I don't think Messalonsky's lost a game all year.
Yeah, it would be huge if Coach DeRosby and Coach Keene could pull that off. Here's the 2-1. Breaking pitch, swung on and missed, strike 2. So now 2-2 is the count. 2 down, top of the 5th. Eddie's up 4-1. Runner on second is Leslie, the third baseman. Benefactor of a stolen base. And here's the 2-2. Breaking pitch, hit through to the right side. Gibson stops it, but has no play at first base. Him and Harris kind of went for the same ball. St. Pierre covered first, but had no play at first. Gibson did the right thing by collecting it and making sure that Leslie wasn't trying to break for home. So now Eddies find themselves in a defensive conundrum that they haven't seen much of. Runners at first and third. Cam Cox, your runner at first. Nate Leslie is your runner at third. And now Nick Merrill, who's 1 for 2, steps up. First pitch to Merrill. Misses low, 1-0.
Be interesting to see how much longer St. Pierre stays out there for. I know Harris was warming up in between innings.
We know he's ready. 4-1 here, Eddies. 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Pitch to Merrill, a curveball, strike. 1-1 now to the shortstop. Runners at first and third. St. Pierre having to work hard to get out of this to preserve the 3-run lead. Here's the 1-1. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 2. Good fastball that time by St. Pierre. Looked like he might have reached back a little bit more for that one. A little bit more zip on it. It's like cracking a whip, though. You don't want to crack the whip hard. You're trying to be very quick with your delivery, and he did that time.
Eventually, the horse won't respond. Breaking
ball, swung on and missed. Strike 3. That's St. Pierre's 5th strikeout of the game. And after 4.5 innings of play, Red Eddies 4, Mount Ararat Eagles 1. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
Oh, once again, excuse me. I keep forgetting we're on video. I'm like, oh, I've muted everything on radio. We're fine. Nope, we're not. No. Welcome back.
MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox. Running Red Eddies of Edward Little High School. 4 runs on the board against the Eagles of Mount Ararat. 1 run for their side. We move into the bottom half of the 5th inning. Time is a ticking.
Time currently ticking for Edward Little softball. They've got 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Primed to pull off the huge upset of Messalonsky. It's 1-0 up there.
Boy, not many people would have expected a score like that, but Edward Little, a very capable team, a very well-coached team. And what it comes down to, I get it. The fun part about doing these games, Maddie, is the fact we get to go around and see a lot of coaches, see a lot of people around the game. And it's neat to have different conversations about coaching philosophy. And the fact of the matter is that the common denominator with baseball and softball is the fact that strategy doesn't change a whole lot from coach to coach for the most part. I mean, certainly you might cover certain situations differently, but it really comes down to execution and whether or not the kids are able to convert the coaching that you're able to give them and they can sort of execute the strategy that you lay out. You look at a team like Edward Little and Coach Dave Jordan, who's been well-versed in coaching throughout the state of Maine. He really does a nice job with his philosophy in promoting that. That's exactly what you've got on the softball side as well. First pitch here to Drew Lashua. Curveball swung on, popped up to the right side. Leslie has a chance, and he collects it in foul territory. So Lashua will pop out to the third baseman for the first out, and now C.J. Gibson will bat in Brandon Varney's place. Varney was 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and a ground out to short. Gibson took his place in the lineup at second. First pitch to him grounded to Nate Leslie at third. Over to first, and 2 pitches, 2 outs here. 5-3 in your scorebook, and Grant Hartley will now step up to the plate. He is 0 for 1.
It is a final in Messalonsky. The upset has been sprung. Edward Little has knocked off the Eagles 1-0.
Congratulations to the Red Eddy softball team. What a tremendous victory. Now with an opportunity to go even further. First pitch to Hartley, breaking ball misses, 1-0. 4-1 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Red Eddies up over Mount Ararat. Hunter Mutal, your pitcher. 1-0 pitch misses at the feet of Hartley, now 2-0. Outfield playing relatively deep for the big lefty. Here's the 2-0. Ooh, he liked it, but didn't make an offering. Called strike, now 2-1.
Both the 1 and 2 seeds in softball went down today.
How about that? 1-2 swung on down the right side, foul. Collected by Alexander beyond the bag, but in foul territory. So that evens up the count, 2-2 to Hartley. 2 down, bottom of the 5th. We have no runners on base. Mutal from the windup. Pitch a ball, now full count to Hartley, the designated hitter for Harris. C.J. Gibson warming as Hartley swings and misses at strike 3. The second strikeout for Mutal, and after 5 full innings of play, Red Eddies up over Mount Ararat 4-1. This is the MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox.
Of course, over on the Southern A side of things, for Tuesday, the South Portland Red Riots will take on Falmouth on the other side of the bracket. That'll be a 6:30 start at St. Joseph's College.
South Portland, Falmouth?
South Portland, Falmouth, Tuesday night in the Southern A.
And then the winner of that game will face the winner of the Bangor and winner of this game.
Correct. And also, of course, as we are now back on radio.
Welcome back. MPA playoffs on 92.7 The Ox. We move into the top half of the 6th inning, and as such, flip the tables back to Matty B.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flynn. Skowhegan and Edward Little will meet over on the softball side of things on Tuesday for the Northern A Championship. Skowhegan upset Oxford Hills earlier today. Edward Little went up to Messalonsky and upset them. I did want to take a second and thank the athletic director of Messalonsky, Tommy Hill. He had power, tables, and chairs ready for the broadcast crew up there and was very communicative during the week knowing that we were coming up. I want to thank Tommy and all the athletic directors so far this spring. They've all been very accommodating. They've all gotten back to me, and they've let me know exactly when changes to the schedule were made and why they were made. So again, I want to thank all of them for making that happen so that we can bring these games to you. Top of the 6th inning, Edward Little leads 4-1. And Harris is on the mound looking to close it out.
Harris is on the mound. St. Pierre will move into right field, and then Jared Norcross Plord will now play first base. So Plord is now your first baseman, Harris on the bump, and St. Pierre in left field.
That's an interesting position change from left field to
no
first
doubt.
base. First pitch is fouled away. Oh, 1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. That is a ball as well, 2-1.
Challenge for Harris is going to be to keep that arm slot consistent. He's a kid that's got some great arm action from the left-hand side. A lot of velocity.
Harris kicks and fires outside, 3-1. Looks like he's just about got it. It doesn't look like he's unsettled. He's just a little bit off.
Yeah, he's not missing by much for sure.
Seeing a lot of these kids that are coming in, and I don't know if there have been rules on this, but it seems like kids take a batter or two to get warmed up. 3-1 pitch in there for a strike, 3-2. And it's in every game I've seen this year. You bring somebody in out of the bullpen, whether it's at the beginning of an inning or in the middle of an inning, it takes them a while to get going.
Hey, at any level, if you're reaching into your bullpen, the one thing that you want out of that pen is for them to throw strikes.
3-2 pitch is going to be grounded into the hole at short. Cox over from the backhand. Can't get it to go. Throw is off. Plord couldn't come up with it. And Mello is safe at first. And Mount Ararat has the lead runner on here in the top of the 6th inning.
Cox did a good job getting to the ball on his backhand side. Really transitioned it to his throwing hand well, but just didn't make a good solid throw over to Plord at first base. Luckily for them, Mello did not advance past the first base side, so he'll stay comfortably at first.
Mutal on the mound, now at the plate. Harris looks over at first, kicks and delivers, swung on a miss, 0-1.
Mutal 0 for 2, a strikeout victim, and grounded out to Cox at short.
Oh, 1 pitch is outside. Nice play by Lashwa there to keep that from going to the backstop. And by the backstop, I mean the screen.
Pretty good amount of distance between home plate and the backstop, too. So, a ball that squirts away, definitely going to allow Mello to get to second base.
1-1 pitch is inside, 2-1. It's not as close as like Levitt. Levitt's right there. Like you could bounce it right off the back of the backstop. Nobody could move.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt.
It's
very
amazing how
close.
some of the field dimensions are a little different.
Great vantage point for the main baseball report.
It was a very good vantage point. Not the best one, though. That pitch is low, 3-1. The best one was today at St. Dom's. We were right next to the Lisbon dugout with no screen in front of us.
Yeah.
That was the best one.
Up on a little knoll.
I was
Perfect.
actually down in the valley for that one.
You were down in the valley.
Yeah. I'm thinking if we ever video stream from there, it would be on the knoll. 3-1 pitch hits him. Well, if you're going to walk a guy, you ought to make him pay for it, I guess. Runners at first and second now. Nobody out. Mount Ararat threatening. And Dave Jordan's going to come out and talk to Ben Harris and get him back on the right track.
Short leash. That's what you say. That's what you call a short leash right there. C.J. Gibson is going to actually come in for Harris here.
That was quick.
And so Harris will go back out to first base. And I have no idea where Jared Norcross Plord will end up. Will he end up at second base?
Nope. I think there's going to be an outfield switch here. That's what I think. We'll see. Nope.
Second base.
He is going to move to second base. Yeah, but who's on first is the question. Oh, no, wait. That's another thing. Sorry.
So Harris, let's reset this defense for you. Ben Harris back to first base. Your second baseman will be Jared Norcross-Plord. Shortstop remains Austin Cox. Third baseman, Max Bell. Outfield, left field is Damian St. Pierre. Center fielder is Tyler Blanchard. And the right fielder is Mason Rushwine. Your catcher, Drew Lashawa. In for the injured Brandon Varney. Mr. Varney was injured in the second inning, I believe. It was after his second at bat. Yeah, it was at the end of the second inning.
It was the top of the third when he came out. It was the warm-ups for the top of the third. Looks like Gibson is ready to go.
He's ready to fire.
Alexander's been in the middle of everything for Mount Ararat today.
1 for 2, had a double, scored a run, also a strikeout victim at the hands of St. Pierre.
4-1 EL with the lead. Runners on first and second for Mount Ararat. Alexander fouls it off at the plate. 0-1. Surprised you swinging at the first pitch there. Figured you probably let the guy from the bullpen try to throw you a strike.
Must have saw something that he liked in some of those warm-up pitches.
Thought it was a cookie. Turned out to be a cucumber. 0-1 pitch is going to be bunted foul. 0-2.
Interesting to see Mount Ararat here try to work the bunt for those 2 runs. They really feel like if they can tighten this game up a little bit, they've got a chance. I don't think many people would have expected this close of a contest.
And he strikes out looking. I don't know what he was looking for there, but he did not get it, and there's one away. And C.J. Gibson looking, probably should wear a fireman's helmet because he just started to extinguish this one.
Yeah, he's got to be very, very, very careful.
Pitch is missed. By the way, Sam Dexter from the University of Southern Maine, drafted by the White Sox in the Major League Baseball draft.
Fantastic. Congratulations to him.
Yes.
That is fantastic. We had a Wyndham with Cody Doobie as well.
Cody Doobie as well, former
10th round.
Yep, he played at Keene State for 4 years. He just got drafted by the Orioles last night. Hopefully Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick treat him well.
Sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
Sure they will.
I see more of Gary Thorne's porch on Baltimore Orioles broadcasts than I see anything else. 0-1 pitch, chopped at the plate, 0-2.
Gibson not wasting any time, working very quickly out there on the mound.
Thrown nothing but strikes so far.
Just what Coach Jordan wants to see.
1 out, 2 strikes, and that's going to be lined into the gap, into center field. Blanchard loses his footing out there. 1 run will score. That was a nice play there by who's out in left now? St. Pierre. St. Pierre's out in left field to grab it from Blanchard, because when Blanchard went to get the ball, it kind of went out from his feet, went out from under him. So 4-2 now. Edward Little's lead is down to 2, and you got runners on second and third with 1 out. Kyle Brennan at the plate for the Eagles.
0 for 1 is Brennan with a ground out to short and a walk.
That run will be charged to Ben Harris. Book not closed on him yet because the runner at third is still his responsibility. First pitch is low, 1-0 to Brennan. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0. Two-0 pitch. Back to the backstop. And that is not going to score a run. There's all sorts of craziness happening. They throw it down to second, and it goes into the outfield, and now the runner will score. That was interesting. Wild pitch. Runner at third got caught. That was Mutal. He runs back. They throw behind the runner at second, which was O'Neill. And that throw was wild, went into center field, and Mutal was able to score. And now Mount Ararat is down by 1 with a tying run on third base with 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Infield in for Edward Little. They'll cut down the run at the plate here with just 1 out now in a 1-run game.
I'm actually surprised that they're not intentionally walking him to create the double play possibility. That pitch is in there for a strike, 3-1. Brennan thought it was a ball, so he threw the bat away. So now he's going to go pick it up.
Yeah, that's never a good look. Never a good look right there.
That's like leaving work on on Thursday saying I'm done with this place and forgetting that it's Friday after you've thrown all your papers everywhere. 3-1 pitch is inside. He waited that time, then tossed his bat. And now you've got runners on the corners for Garrett Moody. Edward Little 4, Mount Ararat 3, top of the 6th inning. Winner gets Bangor Tuesday at Augusta. And now Coach Jordan's going to come out and have a discussion. Making sure he can have a discussion, I think, was the first thing that he was doing.
I don't imagine that he's going to make much of a change here, and it doesn't look like it.
I don't think he had anybody ready.
No, he didn't have any. Nobody else has been warming up. He's just setting the defense for the first and third situation here, making sure everybody is on the same page. Full infield conference here. And I believe he's going to wait until that meeting is broken up. Just my guess. And mound visit over, infield back out.
One out, 2 on, top of the 6th, 4-3 Edward Little. Moody at the dish. Pitch is down, 1-0.
Middle infielders playing back for the double play up the middle. Corner infielders playing in. At least Max Bell at third is playing in to cut the run down at home plate. Harris has got to keep the runner on at first.
Ooh. Throw over to first. Thought they got him. They did not.
Really good move that time by Gibson out on the bump. Made a quick snap throw and turn over to Harris at first.
1-0. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. Nice curveball there from Gibson.
He throws it hard. It's the benefit of having a good curveball is if you can throw it with good velocity, the break on it is a little bit tighter.
1-1 pitch, swung and a miss, 1-2.
Moody 1 for 2, had a line out to Cox at short and a single in the 5th.
Another throw over by Gibson. Runner back, not quite as close that time. A little easier over there with Harris as a left-handed fielder. He's able to snag that, and he doesn't have to do the sweep across like a lot of guys do.
Harris does a nice job over there around first base. Really defensively quite superb.
Count is 1-2 on Moody. Book is closed on Harris. He was responsible for the 2 runs that have scored in this inning. 1-2 pitch is going to be chopped to second. Over to second for 1, and Cox will hold it, and we're tied. O'Neill scored on the fielder's choice. It was just too slow of a ground ball to do a double play there, and we are tied at 4 here in the top of the 6th.
Nate Leslie, who is 1 for 2 now, leadoff hitter for the Eagles, will step in with a couple of out with 1 out, 2 outs, 2 outs, 2 outs, 2 outs.
Runner on first. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. Leslie at the dish, runner on first, off speed, puts Leslie on his keister. 2-0.
Air out of the tire a little bit for the Eddies here. Haven't seen them giving up many 3-run leads, but they have here.
That pitch is in there for a strike, 2-1.
Action in the Mount Ararat bullpen.
Quick action in the Mount Ararat bullpen, too. And they got the bodyguard in there. 2-1 pitch, swung and a miss, 2-2.
Caleb Hawks, the righty, warming up for the Eagles.
Of course, the other day we did the game over on the third base line, and the guy who guards the pitchers in the bullpen actually had to catch one.
Hit right at him.
Right at him. He snagged it. And that's why we do that, kids. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tied at 4. Off speed. Pitch in there for a strike. Strike 3. Gibson comes in, but Mount Ararat ties it. They get 3 in the top of the 6th. We're tied at 4, headed to the bottom of the 6th. It's Edward Little playoff baseball on the Ox. Welcome back. Bottom of the 6th inning, we are tied at 4. It's the Central Maine Community College Game of the Week on 92.7 The Ox OXO. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here out in the right field gap. About 330 feet away from home plate. Max Bell will lead things off for the Eddies, tied at 4. Video, of course, online. Just go to mbr.org. Mutal still on the mound. Steps and delivers to Bell. First pitch is low, 1-0.
Starting to tighten up here in the tie game. You can tell the tension picking up just a little bit. Crowd building even from some of the local games that have finished.
Low again, 2-0. And that is not what you want to see if you're Mount Ararat. Now 3-0. And he hasn't been close with any of those 3 pitches, which you've just gutted through to tie it up at 4 on the road. It's a tough opponent. 2 seed in the conference after you've knocked off a 3 seed on Tuesday. You don't want to come out in the next inning and give up the lead going into the 7th. Or in this case, give up the tie going into the 7th.
Quick discussion between Cox and Mutal.
3-0 pitch. In there for a strike. 3-1. Apparently the scorekeeper's given up on keeping balls and strikes. We're just done with that. That's a wrap.
Bell is 0 for 2, had a fly out to the second baseman and then a ground out to the second baseman.
3-1 pitch in there for a strike, 3-2. Mutal's 3-2 pitch is going to be popped straight up into the hands of Cox. And there is 1 away. Nice job there by Mutal to battle back and get back into that and get the out after starting off 3-0.
Romero will be the pinch hitter here for Brushwine. Brushwine was 1 for 2, popped out to the catcher and had a single. And now Romero, the senior, will get his first at bat.
A little disappointed that Bim didn't do like the Bob Shepard thing.
Yeah.
Romero batting now. Kyle Romero. Mutal's first pitch is fouled away. 0-1. First pitch 2. Oh, 1 off speed. It's going to be fisted away. 0-2.
Romero just looking for something that he can drive. Anything he can do here to get on base for the Eddies. They need somebody on to try to make something happen here. They've got just 5 outs left.
That pitch is outside, 1-2.
Caleb Hawks no longer warming for the Eagles.
1-2. Off speed, foul back. Looks like Romero has got him kind of down.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been able to get one yet.
Well, he's got him timed up for sure, just missing a couple of pitches.
Timed up was the word I was looking for there. Thank you. Didn't have him timed up there. Swung on a miss. Strike 3, and there's 2 away.
Only the third strikeout there for Mutal in his third inning of work. He's really done a nice job. And now Damien St. Pierre, who moved out to left field after starting this game as the pitcher, will hit.
That is going to be popped up. Flare to short. Cox underneath it. And Edward Little goes down 1, 2, 3. St. Pierre with a pop out to short. End of 6. We're tied at 4 on the Ox. I want to remind you that OA is our presenting sponsor for video broadcasts all year long. Join them Saturday, June 18th for the grand opening of their Ortho Access Clinic at 33 Sewell Street in Portland. All sorts of folks will be on hand to celebrate from 10 a.m. to noon. Giveaways, prizes, food, and more. For more info, visit orthoassociates.com. And we're back. Top of the 7th inning, Mesalonsky and Edward Little baseball tied at 4. Excuse me, Edward Little and Mount Ararat baseball tied at 4. Edward Little softball beat Mesalonsky 1-0. Got a little bit of that on the brain.
Mesalonsky's color is not a whole lot different than Mount Ararat's colors either.
Well, and it all starts with an M. It's like a thing.
See?
Yeah,
alliteration.
it's just all,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Thank God they don't have a Taylor Johnson here. That would be, or a Troy Johnson, or a Tyler Johnson, or a Troy, or a Timmy Johnson.
Any number of
any
them.
Johnson with a first name beginning with T.
I haven't messed Jared's name up tonight, so I'm doing okay.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
Cam Cox, Nick Merrill, and Ryan Mello, your batters, 2, 3, and 4 for the Eagles.
Gibson's first pitch is going to be popped straight up to the second baseman, Norcross Flord, and there's 1 away.
1 pitch, 1 out. Nice job by Gibson. He's been very effective here in relief for the Eddies, in relief of Ben Harris, who was in relief of Damien St. Pierre. So lefty-lefty, now the righty Gibson, and he's been very effective, able to get a couple of strikeouts in the last half inning, and here 1 pitch and 1 out in the top of the 7th.
Pitch is in there for strike 0-1. Gibson winds and delivers in there for a strike 0-2.
This is what we expected to see out of Oxford Hills. The first guy comes up, swings at the first pitch. The next batter wants to take a couple of pitches. Problem is Gibson able to deal a couple of strikes and now way behind.
Off speed, in there for a strike 3. Tic-tac-toe, and there's 2 away for Mount Ararat here in the top of the 7th.
Third strikeout there for Gibson in just his second inning of work, and he has been impressive here for the Eddies. Only a junior is Gibson. There's a good core group of guys that are coming back here. They've got unfinished business this year they still want to take care of.
Ryan Mello with the dish, bails out 1-0. Pitch is going to be lined into left field and caught by St. Pierre. 3 up, 3 down for the Eagles. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Edward Little looking to make this walk-offville. Tied at 4. We'll be back on the Ox. Maine High School Baseball 2016 postseason All-Star Showcase game dates. Thursday, June 23rd, the Maine Underclass Showcase game at St. Joseph's College. Maine Senior All-Star game, East and West, Friday, June 24th at Colby College. And the Maine versus New Hampshire Senior All-Star game on Sunday, June 26th at Holman Stadium in Nashua, New Hampshire. MBR will be video streaming all 3 of those games, or all of those games. For more information, go to edgesportsmaine.com/MEBCA. 1-0 pitch Welcome back. Tied at 4, bottom of the 7th. Mutal still on the mound for Mount Ararat.
Be the top of the lineup for the Red Eddies. Austin Cox, Tyler Blanchard, Jared Plord. 1, 2, and 3 for Dave Jordan's crew. See if they can't get something started here against Harper Mutal, who has had the number of the Red Eddies. Edward Little able to score a couple of runs in the opening 2 innings, have not scored since that second inning. Mount Ararat picked up a run in the top of the 2nd and then 3 in the top of the 6th to tie this one up at 4. Cox is 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a fielder's choice. He scored a pair of runs as well. Done a nice job in the field at shortstop.
I wonder if he's going to take a couple pictures here because Mutal started off rough in the last inning. Off speed is low, 1-0. Mutal started off with a 3-0 count on the leadoff hitter in the 6th, but managed to fight back. I think that was Bell that he did that with. That pitch is low, 2-0.
Struggling a little bit, and we'll see whether or not Caleb Hawks heads down to warm up anymore for the Eagles.
2-0 pitch, low, 3-0. And if you're Cox, you're not swinging until it's at least 3-2. Or you see something that you love.
Absolutely can drive.
3-0 pitch, fakes the bunt, takes it for a strike, 3-1. Is that a thing? Like, should I know about that?
No.
Like 3-0 taking a bunt? Is
No.
that just, 3-1. In there for a strike, 3-2. Mutal once again falls behind the leadoff batter 3-0 and fights it back to 3-2.
A couple of times to the same spot, that time way behind in the count for Mutal.
3-2 pitch is high. Couldn't work his way out of that one, and Cox is on to lead things off for Edward Little here in the bottom of the 7th. We're tied at 4. Edward Little softball has already won today. They sprung the upset over Messalonsky 1-0 if you're just joining us here on the Ox. That game was over on Z105.5 and AM 1240. Teams will talk about it at the mound.
And Mutal will come off. We're going to have a pitching change.
We
Caleb
will have a
Hawks
pitching
is
change.
going to be your new pitcher.
We'll keep it here. I think everybody's gotten their sponsor plays at this point. Of course, the winner of this one will play Bangor in Augusta on Tuesday. Bangor beat Brewer earlier today, 5-0.
Hawks was the designated hitter against the Vikings on Thursday. Warmed up and was ready to pitch, but never got the call. He's only supposed to get 8 here, so we'll see how many he gets. That's 3 by my count. Rain seems to have held off after about the 3rd inning. It stayed very cloudy, very overcast. The good thing about a rain like that is it keeps the dust down on a field like this. This is the first time we've covered a game here where we haven't seen a whole lot of dust. The dirt is really moist, dare I say.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was good. That was nice. Oh, reminds me of my good friend Taken.
Absolutely.
Tied at 4 and the bottom of the 7th. Looked like Edward Little was going to cruise home. They had a 4-1 lead last inning, but Ben Harris came in, couldn't find the rhythm, got 2 runners on, and C.J. Gibson couldn't get out of it without allowing those 2 runners to score, and then another runner scored as well to tie it at 4.
Edward Little comes out, scores a couple of runs in the bottom of the 1st inning, and then gives up a run back in the top half of the 2nd inning. You wonder not how much that plays into the mentality for the Eagles, never feeling like they were out of this game and really able to score when they needed it most to tie it up. Now Dave Jordan and his Red Eddies see if they can't manufacture a run here and start planning for Tuesday.
Bunt is missed by Blanchard, 0-1.
Well, he wanted to get it down, and now they can see what they're playing defensively. Third base way in on the infield grass. He's 50 feet away.
0-1 pitch to Blanchard, and he's going to pop that one right back to the pitcher on that bunt. One away. Not what you're looking to do there on a bunt attempt.
Not there.
Nope.
Absolutely not there. Crucial time to get that bunt executed down, and now Jared Plord, who has a double in this game that scored Austin Cox, will step in.
Wonder if they're going to send the runner at some point here. That pitch is low. 1-0. I was really surprised that Blanchard just kept trying to bunt at it when, Mutal previously hadn't found the plate.
Yep.
You got a new guy in there. Let him throw a couple of strikes and see what happens. 1-0 is high, 2-0. Hate to see anybody give up an out.
Don't want to miss too high here with Jared Norcross Plord. That's where he gets very dangerous, up around those letters.
High, 3-0.
Lashua, the hitter behind Plord.
That pitch is in there for strike 3-1.
Not too much attention being paid to Austin Cox over at first base. Ararat feeling safe with one down.
3-1 pitch is going to be hit off of the third baseman. He fires it over to first. He gets Norcross Plord. Leslie did a good job there of tracking it down after he wasn't able to field it. That does move the runner into scoring position, however, in Cox. And now Drew Lashua will step in with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th with a chance to send everybody home. Something going on at one of the other fields. Fire department. And
they're going to give him the intentional walk.
And they are going to give him the intentional walk. Fire department and a
Rescue
ambulance
unit
rolling over.
Yep. C.J. Gibson. Wouldn't you know?
Yeah, wouldn't you know? Of course, he's in the spot that was vacated by Brandon Varney when he left with injury. Wouldn't it be fitting? First pitch to Gibson is a strike, 0-1.
Gibson grounded out to third base in his first at bat.
That pitch is in there for a strike, 0-2. 2 on, 2 out, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 7th, tied at 4. The pitch is high, 1-2. One-two pitch is going to be chopped foul down the first base side. And that's kind of where I was expecting him to go, kind of opposite field there, because if he can get a seeing A single into right field, odds are Cox can score from second.
O'Neill coming in slightly from right field, almost like they're anticipating it. Nobody picked up the ball down the line, so
we've got a stoppage here while we're pick up the ball. Thank you. I want to thank Nick Hathaway for going down and picking that up.
Thanks, Nick. Keeping us rolling.
Yeah, appreciate it. That pitch is fouled away off the screen and back onto the field of play. We'll do it again. 1-2, 2 outs, tied at 4. Bottom of the 7th inning, Mount Ararat and Edward Little. Mount Ararat trying to see if the Cinderella slipper still fits. That has not hit midnight yet. Carriage is still a carriage.
No pumpkins yet.
1-2 pitches, hammered into right field for a base hit. They were going to send him. Instead, he's going to go back to third. Bases loaded now.
interesting perspective that we have here in the outfield. Center fielder Ryan Mello kind of hollered over to Jacob O'Neill, and he said, hey, did Coach tell you to play that close? We want to be careful not to get beat over the head here. O'Neill said, yes, in fact, he did tell me to play that close, and O'Neill did the right thing, cut off the ball, and made an aggressive play to keep Cox from scoring.
They'll bring Hartley up, and you got no place to put Hartley.
So here's a key piece when you've got bases loaded and 2 outs in an inning that you could have a potential walk-off. It is important. It is important that all runners advance 1 base.
And it is important that you don't bounce anything in there to the catcher and get it back to the backstop either.
I've seen games like this where the batter will get a base hit, the runner scores from third, but the batter never goes to first base and reach first base. He would be registered as an out, and the run would not count. He's got to get to first base for that run to count.
Bases loaded, bottom of the 7th inning. Hartley at the dish. Tied at 4. First pitch is in there for a strike, 0-1. Just taking all the way there. Pitch is high, 1-1. If you're Hartley, try to work the count as best you can here, because if he walks it in, that counts too.
Just as much pressure here on Hawks to deliver a strike as there is on Hartley to put the bat on the ball.
Hawks with a 1-1, high 2-1. Hawks kicks, 2-1 pitch, swung and a missed. Would have been a strike anyway, 2-2. Two pitch, fouled away. Bases loaded, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th. Pitch, high, 3-2. Three-two pitch to Hartley. Is a ball. And that is it. Hartley's going to walk down to first. Everybody started touching him, and he's like, no, I got to get down there. And that's it. Edward Little wins it on a walk-off walk. Final score, EL 5, Mount Ararat 4. Edward Little will go on to face Bangor on Tuesday up in Augusta. We'll try to have that game for you here. Take a quick break. Actually, you know what? We can wrap it up here. That's what we can do. Final score again, 5-4. Edward Little beats Mount Ararat. They have moved on to the Northern A Regional Finals. Softball team did as well. They beat Messalonskee 1-0. For Steve Flynn, for Undisclosed Camera Guy, and for Gene Cassidy, back to Police and Media Palatial State Studios, I'm Matty Boutwell. Again, your final score, Edward Little 5, Mount Ararat 4. You've been listening to High School Baseball on